The Stylize menu lives in the Effect category, and you can apply all kinds of cool things on your selected objects. You can create drop shadows, feathers, inner glows, outer glows, round corners on objects like rectangles, and you can even create scribble effects. Let's go ahead and start off with the first one, drop shadow. The drop shadow gives you the ability to change the blend mode, which is typically on multiply. And if you want to see the color more pronounced, you can go ahead and put it on normal. Click on the color. Then change the opacity of that drop shadow if you want to. It's offset on the x-axis, which is this way, so the drop shadow would go this way, and the y offset, which would be up and down. You can also enter negative values if you want to change the direction. And you can also affect the blur of the shadow. So I'll go ahead and hit OK. And in a moment, it'll calculate. And as you can see, we have a purplish drop shadow. I'll go ahead and undo that. We'll go back to Effect, and we'll put a feather on it. Now, many of these effects look the same. So you're going to get a lot of soft edges in this dialog box. So I'll go ahead and put a feather on it this time, 15 pixels, and I'll zoom in. And you'll see that we have a soft edge on the box. I'll undo that and zoom out. Inner glow and outer glow, once again, are going to give you a soft edge. So we'll go ahead and do the same thing. I'll leave it at the default. I'll deselect it. And as you can see, we have a little bit of a glow effect on the edge here. I'll undo that one. And we'll go back to the Stylize menu and we'll do outer glow, which will go in the opposite direction. So I'm going to reduce the blur on this one a little bit, hit OK. And as you can see, the blur and the glow effect goes this way instead of that way, which was the other glow we just did here. So we have the inner and outer glow. They just go in opposite directions. We can even take things like rectangles and turn them into something that we can get here anyway, the rounded rectangle. So with this guy selected, I'll go to Effect, Stylize, Round Corners. I can affect the radius by putting my value here, and I can hit Preview to see what I'm going to get. You can change this number at any time, hit Tab key, and your preview will update. I hit OK, and I'll zoom out a little bit. And then we have our own rounded rectangle. And last but not least, we have a really cool effect, Scribble. Stylize, Scribble. And as you can see, it gives you a really kind of woodcut, a lot of distortion here. It's a really interesting effect, and it has a lot of parameters that you can play around with. For example, the angle, the path overlap, the variation, which really blurs it out or makes it powerful or not as powerful when you go all the way down to 0. The path overlap. Okay, so it's taking the path that we have here and it's going to determine whether it's going to overlap your artwork or overtake it. We have the ability to change our stroke width, the curviness, the variation of that, very cool, spacing, and the variation of that. So for all these parameters, you can affect one parameter and then work on a variation of that. So I'll go ahead and hit OK. And what we had at first was something like this, and now we have that.